Whether you believe in the Big Bang Theory or embrace creationism, we have found ourselves living and breathing on this colossal rock hurtling through the cosmos. And the question has always been, why? Why are we here? What exactly is our purpose? Philosophy, religion, and probably every being on Earth has attempted to answer this question, all coming up with our own ideals and beliefs surrounding this topic. But at the end of the day, what if we're all just complicating it? Plato believed that the meaning of life was centered on the pursuit of truth, knowledge, and the cultivation of the soul. For Plato, the physical world we experience through our senses is just the shadow of a higher, eternal reality, which he called the world of forms. The forms are perfect, for Plato, unchanging concepts or ideals such as beauty, justice, and goodness, which exist beyond our material world. According to Plato, the ultimate goal of life is to achieve knowledge of these forms, especially the form of the good, which is the highest and most important of all. The form of the good represents the ultimate truth and the source of all other forms. To understand the good is to understand the true nature of reality, and to align oneself with it is to live a virtuous and meaningful life. Plato also emphasized the importance of the soul. He believed that the soul is immortal and pre-exists before birth, having an innate knowledge of the forms. Life, therefore, is a journey of recollection, anamnesis, where the soul seeks to remember and reconnect with the truth it once knew. This process of recollection and intellectual inquiry leads to a deeper understanding of the forms and, ultimately, to the cultivation of virtues such as wisdom, courage, moderation, and justice. Socrates, like Plato, believed that the meaning of life was deeply connected to the pursuit of knowledge, truth, and virtue. For Socrates, the essence of a meaningful life was the practice of philosophy, an unrelenting quest to understand oneself and the world through critical inquiry and dialogue. Socrates famously declared that the unexamined life is not worth living. This statement encapsulates his belief that the purpose of life is to engage in continuous self-examination and moral reflection. He believed that by questioning our beliefs, values, and assumptions, we can uncover deeper truths about ourselves and the world around us. This process of questioning is known as the Socratic method, a form of dialogue where probing questions are used to stimulate critical thinking and illuminate underlying beliefs. For Socrates, the ultimate goal of life was to achieve a state of moral excellence, of virtue, which he equated with knowledge. He believed that all virtues such as justice, courage, and temperance are forms of knowledge, and that true knowledge leads to right action. In other words, to know the good is to do the good. Ignorance, on the other hand, leads to moral error and wrongdoing. Enter racism and homophobia. Friedrich Nietzsche had a complex and often provocative view of the meaning of life, which challenged traditional religious, moral, and philosophical ideas. Nietzsche did not believe in a universal or objective meaning of life. Instead, he argued that individuals must create their own meaning in a world that is inherently devoid of any preordained purpose. Nietzsche famously declared that God is dead, meaning that the traditional Christian worldview and its moral foundations were no longer credible in modern society. With the decline of religious beliefs, Nietzsche recognized the rise of nihilism, the belief that life has no inherent meaning, value, or purpose. He saw this as both a crisis and an opportunity for humanity. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, believed that the meaning of life was to live in accordance with nature and reason, to fulfill one's duty, and to cultivate inner virtues such as wisdom, justice, courage, and self-discipline. His philosophy, deeply rooted in Stoicism, emphasized the importance of understanding the natural order of the universe and accepting the events of life with equanimity. Religions like Christianity and Islam often center their understanding of life's purpose on the worship of a deity. Christianity teaches that life's ultimate purpose is to love and serve God, while Islam holds that life is a test from Allah, meant to be lived in accordance with divine will and commandments. Buddhism, on the other hand, focuses on the pursuit of enlightenment, the cessation of suffering, and the attainment of nirvana. Religious beliefs like Christianity and Islam and Buddhist ways of life provides a framework for understanding human existence and offers paths to fulfill one's purpose according to their doctrines and practices. Additionally, there are even conspiracy theories suggesting that our world is merely a prison designed to harbor criminals from an alien species, adding yet another layer of complexity and intrigue to our quest for meaning. But amidst the varied interpretations, I feel that we are barely scratching the surface. Because what if we are, in fact, overcomplicating everything? Have you ever stopped to think that the very act of searching for purpose only brings about more grief? Plato's search for beauty and goodness, Socrates' pursuit of knowledge, Nietzsche's nihilism, Marcus Aurelius' Stoicism, Christianity and Islam's desire to serve a deity, and Buddhism's longing for nirvana. It's all the same with a different name. The purpose and peace that we all long for is literally all around us and can be found beyond ourselves. In this modern Western world, we are so obsessed with productivity and status and money, but the goals we achieve often provide a fleeting sense of satisfaction, which quickly gives way to a new void that drives us to seek further ventures, opportunities, and dreams. And I refuse to believe that life is merely about discovering an ever-evolving purpose, projects we create for ourselves over time. Perhaps the root of our existential struggle lies in our anthropocentrism, the belief that we are superior to animals, plants, and minerals. We assert our superiority over animals due to our cognitive abilities, our capacity for moral and ethical reasoning, and our ability to exercise self-restraint. We consider ourselves above plants because they do not exhibit feelings or pain in the way animals do, and we regard ourselves as superior to minerals because, despite their intrinsic energies, they do not exhibit consciousness or emotions. Yet, our superiority complex might be what holds us back. We often forget that at our core, we are merely another species of animal. Animals live in accordance with their environment, following the natural rhythms of their existence. They may eat, sleep, reproduce, and repeat, but they also form bonds, show compassion, and even grieve for their loved ones. For example, when an animal loses a companion, it can experience profound emotional distress. Our pets miss us when we leave and can suffer from psychological distress if deprived of their natural habitats or social interactions. Sound familiar? Animals might not have human-made technologies or engage in intellectual pursuits like Sudoku, but they love, they play, they care for their communities, and even seek help from other species when in need. The complexities of their mental lives remains largely unexplored, and for all we know, their thoughts and feelings might be richer and more nuanced than we currently understand. In light of all of this, I wonder if perhaps the meaning of life is not found in our quest for personal greatness or societal status, but in our relationship with the larger community of life. Every living thing, be it animal, plant, or mineral, is part of an interconnected web. Our existence is inextricably linked with the existence of others. The lioness adopting a baby antelope, for instance, illustrates that instincts are not rigid, but can adapt and evolve based on circumstances. This act of adoption transcends mere survival and suggests that moral and emotional dimensions exist within the animal kingdom, perhaps echoing the depths of human experiences. When we view ourselves as separate from or superior to other life forms, we might be missing the point entirely. By distancing ourselves from the natural world and constructing an artificial system dominated by economics, religion, and power dynamics, we often find ourselves feeling disconnected and unfulfilled. These systems may not lead to genuine joy or meaning, and the more we drift away from our natural roots, the more pronounced our sense of purposelessness becomes. The disparity between the complexity of human constructs and the simplicity of nature often exacerbates our sense of confusion and discontent. In Native American cultures, they traditionally hold a profound respect for the interconnectedness of all life. The meaning of life from their perspective is not something to be found in abstract philosophical inquiries, but in living harmoniously with the world around them. Central to many Native American belief systems is the concept of living in accordance with the rhythms of nature and honoring the earth as a sacred living entity. Mother Earth is not merely a resource to be exploited, but a source of life, deserving of reverence, respect, and care. The earth, sky, water, plants, animals, and humans are all seen as part of a great cycle of life where each element has its own purpose and place. In Native American spirituality, life is understood as a continuous cycle where every being plays a role in maintaining the balance of the ecosystem. The purpose of life is to live in harmony with these cycles, to respect the land, and to acknowledge the interconnectedness of all living things. This way of life is not just about survival, but about thriving in a way that honors the spirit of the earth. Every action, from the planting of crops to the hunting of animals, is carried out with a deep sense of gratitude and responsibility, recognizing that life is sustained through the balance between giving and taking. This beautifully holistic way of life was severely disrupted by the arrival of European colonists. The colonizers imposed their own values rooted in economic gain and industrial progress onto the land and its original inhabitants. This new way of thinking was alien to the Native American way of life, which did not revolve around ownership, exploitation, or the relentless pursuit of material wealth. The introduction of an economy-driven worldview led to the systematic destruction of natural landscapes, the disruption of native ecosystems, and the forced displacement of Native American communities from their ancestral lands. Industrialization brought with it not only environmental degradation, but also a deep spiritual wound, as the sacred relationship between the people and the land was fractured. The colonizers' focus on economic growth and industrialization tainted what was once a harmonious existence, leading to a profound loss of cultural identity and a disconnect from the spiritual essence of the life that Native Americans cherished. In ancient Japanese culture, the meaning of life was deeply intertwined with the principles of simplicity, mindfulness, and a deep appreciation for the beauty in the mundane. The philosophy of wabi-sabi captures this sentiment perfectly. A worldview centered on the acceptance of transience and imperfection. Wabi-sabi teaches that there is beauty in the simple, the torn, and the imperfect. It encourages a life that is lived with humility and appreciation for the natural flow of time. The ancient Japanese believed that the purpose of life was not to chase after grand achievements or material success, but to find contentment in simplicity and harmony with the world around them. This was reflected in every aspect of their culture, from the art of the tea ceremony, which celebrates the quiet beauty of everyday moments, to the practice of Shinrin-yoku, or forest bathing, which emphasizes the healing power of nature. Life was meant to be lived slowly, with an awareness of the present moment and a deep connection to the natural world. This connection to nature was not just a passive appreciation, but an active, mindful engagement with the environment, where every season, every change in the landscape was met with reverence and respect. This approach to life is not only aesthetically pleasing, but also spiritually fulfilling. It encourages a pace of life that is attuned to the rhythms of nature and the inner self, fostering a deep sense of peace and contentment in a world that often glorifies speed, efficiency, and the accumulation of wealth, again, which was reinforced by rich white men through the destruction and the imposing of themselves and their selfish, egotistical morals and ideals onto other cultures. But before this, the ancient Japanese way of living offered a powerful reminder of the value of slowing down and embracing simplicity. It suggests that true fulfillment lies not in the relentless pursuit of progress, but in the mindful appreciation of the present moment, in the small, simple joys that come from living in harmony with nature and with oneself. Colonization didn't just ruin cultures, landscapes, families, people's belief systems, and cause disgusting amounts of pain and bloodshed. Due to egocentricity, industrialization, and the pushing of the economy and the so-called American dream, it destroyed every single human's ability to live fully, contently, to experience connection with the world that we live in and the people in it, as well as a continuous, ever-draining and desperate search for purpose and meaning. Never got to live within cultures that prioritize simplicity and natural connectivity and oneness with our environment. But I can imagine that the lives that those people experienced were far more purposeful and meaningful than those of the Western modern world. I can also say that by trying to rewind the way that we live would also prevent our own extinction, whether that will be through war or natural disasters, as at this point it seems inevitable. Our current situations and experiences worldwide are showing us that we are clearly on the wrong path, doing all of the wrong things for ourselves, for our planet, for the other living beings that we share life with. We missed the mark entirely. The systems that we live in do not work for us. They do not bring joy. They do not bring purpose. So clearly this isn't it. And us trying to force ourselves into it brings us to further question our purpose. And of course it would. When we don't belong somewhere, we naturally begin to question everything. It's the law of survival. We question danger, we question discomfort, we question things that don't align with us. Why? Because they're not for us. And thus, if we find ourselves constantly questioning our purpose, it's because our societies are dangerous, uncomfortable, and they do not naturally align with who we are. By reconnecting with our roots and recognizing our place in the natural order, we may find that the true law of the planet is not embedded in complex theories or abstract concepts, but in the simple, profound experience of living authentically and peacefully. So answer me this: do you question your purpose while you're on holiday? Do you question your purpose when outside in your garden tending to the greenery? Do you question your purpose when you're helping and caring for those that you love? Do you question your purpose while deeply focused on your hobbies? Do you question your purpose when playing with your children? Do you question your purpose when having honest and empowering philosophical and deep conversations with your family and friends? Do you question your purpose when enthralled in passion with the person that you truly love and feel safe with? The majority probably answered with a resounding no to these questions. These are the moments when we are most in connection with ourselves. The moments when we are most embraced and intensely focused in the moment, in the present, in the purposes of our existence. We're not just existing in those moments, we're truly living in those moments. And so, perhaps reconnecting with nature and rediscovering the natural rhythms of existence might be the key to overcoming our existential struggles. This doesn't require us to regress to the Stone Age, where we lived in caves and used stones to create fire, but rather to re-evaluate our priorities and embrace simpler, more meaningful activities. The contemporary obsession with technological advancement and material success often overshadows our innate need for connection to our environment and to one another. By fostering genuine connections with our surroundings, and each other, we might find the answers that we seek. The notion of purpose might not reside in uncovering a grand plan, because who the fuck are we, but in living harmoniously with the world around us, nurturing our relationships, finding peace in our daily lives, reconnecting to Mother Nature and relearning to respect her. I cannot tell you how we evolved so far in this wrong direction. My brain does not hold enough scientific nor historical knowledge to explain it. However, as a person who graduated in philosophy, as someone who was once deeply rooted and raised in Christianity up until the age of about 20, and as an individual who thinks and overthinks so deeply and thoroughly about each and every little thing, I will say this. Maybe our purpose now should be trying to find ways within ourselves to de-evolve, make our way back to our roots, living in accordance with our environment and the laws of nature, living and creating loving and caring communities, simplifying our lives so that instead of just surviving, we can actually live. If you're not at peace, you're not aligned with your purpose. And that too is the law of the planet.